Just a very brief update and summary with where I am at with the Your Future, Your Life readings. I have been sitting in the Broadway Lights Diner all day. It's now, what time is it? It's now 13:29. It's now 1:39 p.m. and I have, for the first time in my career doing recorded readings of any kind, done four readings. The challenge is to keep them all fresh and to have a whole completely new angle when doing these, because I'm essentially working with many of the same variables in the astrology, and I am loving the way that these are turning out. Today I did the two Mars ruled signs, because the Mars retrograde is the most important thing this coming up part of the year. So that's Aries and Scorpio. Aries is taped behind this one here. I'll even show you. It's the same chart that I used in the, oh no, it's somewhere else. The same chart that I used in the introductory video, which I suggest you take a look at. It's a half an hour warm up of the themes and the astrology that I will be covering. And I may, let's see here. Okay, then I did two fixed signs. I did Leo and Taurus. So I am 1/3 of the way done on the first day of doing these readings, and that is awesome, because I've got a lot that I want to get done, and want to put these readings in your hands as soon as possible. I want to briefly go over some of the subject matter spiritually that I'll be covering. The astrology I'm really focused on is Pluto going into Aquarius, and this theme of preserve your humanity. That may be the title of the 2023 annual edition, because Pluto in Aquarius is indicating that we are going to live in an increasingly robotic world, and this this nightmare of transhumanism that is being pushed upon us, of computer code being injected into the body, and of robots influencing every facet of our lives, and the social credit system. Nothing could warn against this more boldly than Pluto in Aquarius. I mean, if you know any astrology at all, and you recognize that Aquarius is not only the sign of you might say shared reality among the people with whom we have something in common, but also about technology and Pluto and social patterns. And Pluto is the planet associated with power, just with power, but also with the potential for evolution and growth. Nothing warns against things as horrific as social credit systems like Pluto in Aquarius. I mean, we are in many ways slaves to our credit score. Now imagine if you have a social credit score where you're only acceptable, you can only get your child into a certain school, or you can only do a certain thing, or sign for a new car or whatever, if you have a social credit score above 650 or something. Imagine this. And who's going to become the social credit rating, right? So agency, right? Isn't that probably a great business to get into right now? I'm also spending a lot of time on Mars retrograde in Gemini. That's a really big one. And I have been, here's the Leo chart, looking very closely at all of the activity in Aries, namely today recording under the influence of the Chiron conjunction to Mars conjunction to Chiron, plus Eris, plus Jupiter dancing back and forth over the line between Aries and Pisces all year. All of these are one symbol after the next saying, preserve your humanity, be a person, do not allow anyone to accelerate the process of being robotized any more than is absolutely unavoidable. So some of the themes I am basing this work on are the issues of the loss of trust that we are experiencing here in the disembodied digital world. The loss of trust is a loss of potential, a loss of human potential, and it's also a time loss. I did not address this time loss problem in the first introduction that I did Yesterday. We are having a hard time keeping a grip on the passage of time and using time in any way that is coherent or practical. We are in this simultaneous reality of the digital world where it's very hard to, even though everything's got a timestamp on it, it is difficult to keep track of all of the time losses. Think of all the time we spend waiting for uploads and downloads. Think of all the time we spend on the phone waiting for a human to come on hold, come on the phone because everything is now done by a robot. Think of all the time spent on social media. Think of all the time spent answering emails all day long. I'm a little too involved in technology, and much of my time and much of my money goes to maintaining technology, and so that too represents a kind of a time loss. And there's wonderful advantages to this, but we need to keep a grip on our time as one of the most important, perhaps the single most important value. This is a problem in the groundless digital world. Also, a challenge in the groundless digital world is building relationships. It's very hard to build relationships when you don't have a person to meet, see, hang out with, eat food with, and breathe with. And we have had this quality of our humanity be absolutely under assault for the past 2.5 years. I'm spending a lot of my time these days completing my chronology project, and I am astonished at the ridiculous nature of all of the attempts to distance people from each other. Closed off parking spaces, closed off urinals, one-way aisles in supermarkets, stickers on the floor to make people stand apart. None of this had any effect on anything related to our health. It only pushed us apart and forced a kind of a mandatory lack of trust on people, and the notion that everyone is a disease vector. This is terrible, and we should never be approving of this in any way. No matter how scared you are, there are things that you just should not allow. Much of the digital revolution has involved a loss of the sense of being, which we think of as sense of self, which is really about contact with the inner life. And we absolutely must have an inner life to be human. But one of the influences of electrical technology generally, and of digital technology in particular, is to drive people out of our bodies and to turn people into phantoms. It's one thing to listen to the radio and to have that be kind of a tribalizing experience. It's another thing to watch television and have that lead to various forms of tribalizing experiences, like the protests of the 1960s. Those were all effects of television. It's another thing entirely to live most of one's life in the digital realm without a body in an uncreative way. So I, right now, am in the digital realm as far as you're experiencing me. However, shorn of physical reality and body and gender and all that. But I have spent the entire past 2 days creating things in this realm. This is a self-creative act. I am doing my best to set the example for you to be creative with your digital tools. It is vitally important that we do this so that we take the lead in this technology environment rather than having it completely swallow, subsume, and condition us to have no concept of who we are, and to have our only concept of who we are be that which is approved, liked, and shared. And I am sad to say that there are people for whom this is much of their reality. One last matter, which is Mars retrograde in Gemini, has a feeling of pushing people apart from each other, right? There's in Gemini, there's supposed to be a picture of harmony between the two twins, but with Mars retrograde, that is a picture of conflict. And this is a form of social, Gemini being the first and potentially the most social sign of a form of having our social reality moved on again. Nobody wants to relive the world of social distancing and masking and clothing with barriers and barricades and not being able to. The masks are coming back. They're pushing this monkeypox thing. I can't believe anyone believes this. But does anyone want to relive this? Relive this thing? And so we need to be extremely cautious under the influence of the forthcoming Mars retrograde in Gemini about influences that would strive to separate us from one another. Okay, so these are some of the themes that I am covering. They are specific to all of the signs. As an astrologer, I do $1,000 readings. It's one of my most successful projects, and I could live handsomely on that. But I choose to do these much lower budget, but no less quality readings for people, so I may reach more people with the work that I do and the ideas that I have. It is great working with people one-on-one. I'm able to help people really grow in their careers and their lives and their relationships, and I love doing that work for my clients. But I am deeply committed to making sure that real ideas reach you, regardless of your ability to spend a lot of money. So I make sure I do a good amount of free work and then very high quality readings for the 12 signs and then birthday readings. So please take advantage of that. And thank you for your business and your trust. As always, I'm available at efc@planetwaves.net. If you have any questions, maybe copy cs@planetwaves.net to make sure that that someone else on my team sees the message. And once again, thank you for sharing this moment with me. Signing off for today from the Broadway Lights Diner in Midtown Kingston, New York, I'm Eric Francis. Bye for now.